Because I was thinking about this when Brock took over. It was like 2 or 3 weeks in, and I've submitted. I don't know where I stand at this point, but let's say the injury for Jimmy and Trey happened in preseason, and he had to be QB1 from day one. Are they in a position that they are right now? Are they still the exact same team?
Yep.
They're probably a different version of that team, and I don't know what they become. Like, what does he look like prior to the CMC trade?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of irrelevant at this point because it didn't happen that way, and we're here where we're here. And if things progress the way that they will, he'll be QB1 heading into next year, and we'll see what he looks like with a full offseason, a full training camp, all those different things. Those things will play themselves out. But we're here now. So going back and trying to do revisionist history about woulda, coulda, shoulda, what's he going to look like, kind of a fool's errand at this point. We're facing the Cowboys. This is what you live for. You're facing the Cowboys with an opportunity to either host or go to Philly for the NFC Championship game.
And I'm seeing a lot of comments here on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. A lot of people are like, watch the game, bro. Purdy's the one. Watch the game. By the way, the Buccaneers, breaking news, have fired offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich.
Oh, yeah, he was the problem.
Fired. He's the problem out there in Tampa Bay. Todd Bowles fires Byron Leftwich. We have a QB1 on Sunday. What happens next season? I'm telling you, and this is why we got into it with Mark the other day. I don't give a damn what's happening next season. I want to get through the divisional round playoff and get to Philadelphia or New York. That's the hype I'm on right now. Brock Purdy, he's the quarterback. And he's played at a high level. But you can also say, hey, it's okay to say Brock Purdy struggled in the first half. It's okay. No. Why can't we do that with Brock? Why does everything have to be peaches and cream with Brock Purdy? But all of a sudden, every other quarterback we nitpick and we talk about this throw and that throw.
We want that guy. Like that, the Niner fans have been salivating for one of those types of guys.
Since Steve Young?
Yes. And we'll poke holes in anybody who's not that. Well, there'll be an instant, like, when you first start dating someone, there's that crazy new love, and then it becomes kind of a tired act, and then you start poking holes and flaws in an individual, and we did it with Jimmy Garoppolo, and at some point, people will be doing it with Brock Purdy. Be like, that's just the reality of it. But, like, here's what I would say real quick.
I don't, like, I want Brock Purdy. For me, I don't care who's the quarterback of the future. Whether it's Trey,
Brock, I want to win.
I want to win Super Bowls.
I want to win.
I want to win Super Bowls. Who gives me the best chance of winning Super Bowls? As of today, it's Brock Purdy because Trey Lance is in the boot. You know what's funny? When we talk about like the rise and fall of Kaepernick, right? We always point to him and we point to Harbaugh or Greg Roman in the play calling. You know what no one ever brings up? Michael Crabtree tore his Achilles in the offseason, all right? And wasn't available for 13 weeks. Goodwin, their center, who was a stalwart on that offensive line, moved on. All right. Anthony Davis, in and out of the lineup. Vernon Davis, concussions. Okay. Like, there were lots of things that happened. Jonathan Martin was starting at right tackle in 2014. Jonathan Martin, the guy from Stanford who, look, God bless his soul. I hope he's all right mentally. But he was not an NFL-capable right tackle.
He wasn't a good football player. But I think lost in the sauce as we debate Kaepernick. And, of course, whenever you bring Cap up, the kneeling thing comes to mind. Just put that to the side. I'm talking about the football player and the environment he was in. We never take all these other steps in trying to break down why it didn't work.
Well, you want to break down these steps?
No, but my point is that we always look at Brock Purdy, and he's just going to be succeeding forever. Let's say CMC, something happens to him in the offseason. Let's say something happens. Trent Williams decides, we won it all. I'm going to walk away. Like, we're looking at this whole thing different. Just a year ago, Matt Stafford could do no wrong. And then you head into this year, his elbow's hurting. The team around him isn't as good. Things start falling apart. And what does everybody say? I knew it. Matt Stafford's not that good. He had the one little run. So, like, embrace the now.
And he's got the weaponry that Jimmy G and Trey Lance never had. You got full complement of weapons. Full complement. But when you bring up Kaepernick, and we forget about Jim Tomsula, we forget about Jeep Chris calling plays. All right, you look at that staff.
Oh, my God.
You look at that staff. Eric Mangini was your defensive coordinator.
I forgot about Jeep Chris.
All right, Tony Sparano was coaching your tight ends. All right, 2016 comes around. Kaepernick's trying to battle. Everybody's talking up. Blaine Gabbert.
Jeremy Curley was your number one.
Yeah, Jeremy. I went down to those games, Shasky.
Jeremy Curley.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of people asking for media credentials this week for Cowboys Niners. I'm sure 95.7 The Game has a bunch of requests. 2016, you couldn't give out a credential. You couldn't give out a ticket. No, everybody's like, I'm good. Remember, I dragged you down in 2017. I was like, Shasky, come with me, please. Come with me to this game.
Remember the meme? The car was broken. They're like, these jerks. And they put 49er tickets in my front seat.
Yeah. Kenny Smith had a great joke way back when LeBron left Cleveland. I forget the joke, but he basically insinuated something like that. It was like, hey, man, we gave away two tickets to a homeless guy. The homeless guy came back to my car and put it back on my windshield wiper. It's like, I'm good. But you think about Kaepernick in 2016. Curtis Mockins was your offensive coordinator. Who? Curtis Mockins. All right, yeah, Mick Lombardi's your offensive quality control coach. All right, yeah, Jim O'Neill calling your defense. The team was a dumpster fire, but we misremember. And, by the way, with Jeremy Curley as his number one receiver, Kaepernick threw 16 touchdowns and threw for only 4 picks.
I think what my point is that football is so complicated. Was it on Cap? Did he regress? He did regress.
He did regress a little bit.
He didn't do a great job reading zone defenses.
But it wasn't all on him.
No, but that's my point.
But you also got to have coaches around him, right?
It's a pie chart of culpability. There are many slices to why it didn't work, and I would go to structurally in terms of the infrastructure of the organization failed him equally as much as he failed himself, is where I'm going at with this.
No doubt. But you got, and I'm with you there, because we see it with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, we're going to watch Saturday night. He's the perfect example. He's had Ben McAdoo. Mm-hmm. Who else did he have? He had Pat Shurmur.
Joe Judge.
Who
couldn't even coach special teams for
just a joke.
The Patriots.
Just a joke. All of a sudden, you get Brian Daboll, who has a sense of what modern-day football is all about, has a sense of offensive football. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to work with Daniel Jones, and I'm going to highlight his strengths. Kaepernick didn't have that his last 2 years in the league. He didn't. And then all of a sudden, he's out the league, and we're saying, well, he's not good enough to be a backup. No, he knelt, and they blackballed him. That's just, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
I mean, look at who's getting starts in the NFL as backups. Like Chase Daniel, come on. I mean, give me a break. I guess if you were encouraged for like the long-term outlook of the 49ers, everyone's going to go quarterback. I'm encouraged because of Shanahan.
Yeah.
Because that I know Shanahan can replenish talent. I know Shanahan can make the most out of someone's abilities. I look at Deebo Samuel. There's only 4 or 5 spots in the league where I think Deebo could be the weapon that Deebo is here.
I don't even know if it's 5 spots. I'm looking at Kansas City, the LA Rams.
I think Joe
maybe Buffalo.
I think Dayball would do.
Dayball with the New York Giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll give him
Doug
that.
Peterson, maybe?
I think Sean Payton when he returns back. Yeah, Doug Peterson. Exactly. But it's a small list is what I'm getting at. Like, I think George Kittle will be really good in a lot of systems.
Right.
Do I think he'd be this type of a player in terms of the balance? I don't think so. How many tight ends in the league just split out wide and they don't do any blocking?
Right.
Like, think of all the things George and Juice do for the entirety of winning.
Right.
Forget just the passes they catch. What about all the blocking and the way that they scheme things up and create balance to make it easier for that quarterback in play action?
Well, you think about that run that Christian McCaffrey had in that first quarter. Great block by George Kittle. Great block by Kyle Juszczyk going up the hole looking for somebody to hit.
It was incredible.
And then you get Trent Williams setting the edge. Shanahan is the difference. Again, you go through 3 quarterbacks in a season, and you're still knocking on the doorstep of the NFC title game. If anything this has shown is that Shanahan's system is very quarterback-friendly.
Absolutely.
And we've gone to all the games and seen Jimmy Garoppolo not look at guys, overthrow guys, throw behind guys, and dudes are running wide open. We saw the same thing last Saturday. Shanahan's scheme and the way he is dialing it up, it's impressive. And so it shows me that it may not be Brock 3 years from now. It may not be Trey 3 years from now. But whoever it is going to have a great chance to succeed because of Kyle Shanahan. And I've come full circle on that.
Well, like Jimmy, I've kind of long time like, man, who'd be squeezing this out of Jimmy somewhere else? Because we talked a lot about, like, look what his record is with Jimmy. Look what his record is without Jimmy. And I feel like this Brock run that we're on speaks more to Shanahan.
Yeah.
I mean, it means something about Brock. It means I don't want to diminish
But don't you think, though, that it also has exposed Jimmy Garoppolo? I almost think Jimmy has lost money due to the run Brock Purdy's on.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Wow.
Because
I haven't thought of it
Brock
that way.
is out here. All of a sudden, you scored 30-plus in 7 of your last 9 games.
Yeah.
And this offense looks dynamic. They're going down the field. He's stretching the field. Deep crossers, deep fade routes down the sideline. He's taking shots that Jimmy just wouldn't take.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So to me, I think it has exposed Jimmy Garoppolo. Honestly, and he may have lost money Donnie and company may have lost money due to this run with Brock Purdy because if I'm the GM,
he was on his best run.
He was on his best run,
and Brock looks so much better.
He looks so much better. So if I'm another team, and I'm
just using the casual eye.
Yeah, I'm courting Jimmy Garoppolo next season. If I'm I don't know, Carolina Panthers. You say, whatever team.
Yeah.
Throw a team out there.
I said to you a couple years ago, I'm like, who's doing this with Jimmy G? Because everyone will be like, look at the record with Jimmy. I'm like, yeah, I know, and I'm not taking anything away from Jimmy. I'm elevating Kyle, and I'm saying, how many other coaches are squeezing this output out of Jimmy Garoppolo?
Exactly.
Not many.
So if you're another team and you ask Jimmy, no, man, we saw Brock Purdy do this. How come you couldn't do that? I would ask that question.
It's a good point.
How come he's stretching the field? The plays look to be there. What's up with you?
Good point.
You threw the pick 8. Can you explain that? Like, what's going on?
What if Brock has a dud this weekend and they end up losing? Does that change your thoughts on it?
Be the first.
He's been almost perfect. I know we could look at B. I hear you. First half here, first half there. Jimmy went through full stretches of 2-3 week periods where he looked lost.
Yeah.
The sample size feels so small with Brock, but what I've seen, I'm so encouraged with, and I'm optimistic, and I'm hopeful, and I've got all of this long-term stuff that I understand, but then I'm thinking to myself, and I would do this with, even if Mahomes was my quarterback, I'd be worried about the multi-turnover game.
Right.
Because I saw Mahomes do it in a championship game, and I think he's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's a turnover machine.
Almost lost a game against against Miami last week. Turnover machine.
I know.
Machine. And they think this is their window, Buffalo.
I know. He's awesome, though.
He is awesome.
But what it comes with all of that talent is the ability I can make a play down the field for 40 yards on every play, and he just throws it up.
Let's go to the Angry Black in Milpitas. The Angry Black. What's happening?
What's going on with the dynamic duo? Hey, listen, this is what I was saying last year when the Niners were in their big game at the end of the season against the Rams. They had 2 Achilles heels. One of them was Shanahan himself because last year he was a little bit too cute and everybody was second-guessing his play calls. And the other heel was Garoppolo. This year it's a little bit different. I think Shanahan is at the top of his game now because of the weapons he does have. I think the Achilles heel is that secondary on both sides. You got one guy that's too aggressive, and then the other guy kind of gets beat deep a couple of times a game. So what do you guys think? And here's the thing. What do you give me for Brock Purdy and Doug Flutie? I think that's his reincarnation.
Well,
they both had quick releases and short dinosaur arms, and I believe that's why the release is so quick.
It's a good comp. I'm a Flutie lover. I always thought Flutie got a raw deal in the NFL.
Should have started a Music City Miracle.
Yeah.
Over Rob Johnson.
I wanted him to play with San Diego toward the end. Like, they had Buffalo. Like, there's a lot of different situations where I think if the era was different and the way the rules are now, I think Flutie absolutely plays in the league now way more and starts way more and is viewed completely different. Look, whether you want to say it's Kyler, Russell Wilson, because he's not as athletic as Kyler, that's clear, and his arm isn't as good. But in terms of like the scrappy scrambler type, that's in right now. Now, is that a 14, 15-year player? I don't know. I mean, who cares? Can you win right now with them? Absolutely. I mean, we saw a similar blueprint with Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson, and it worked wonders. And I think that this offense is way better than that offense was.
They've got a lot more weapons.
That defense was
all-timer. That defense is legit, but you've got a lot more weapons offensively. You have a lot more players who could go for explosives. Deebo Samuel, 74-yard touchdown last week. George Kittle with the catch and runs he's had over the last 5 weeks of the season. So it's a good comp. Flutie, he's just a lot shorter. Purdy, I'd have to sit on that one. But instead of just comparing Brock, how does Brock get through this week? How does Brock get through this week against one of the faster defenses in the NFL? Now, they'll give up a lot of yards in a run game. But what Dallas sells out to take that run game out? Can Brock Purdy just do it against this defense with his right arm? Is he capable of doing that in a game of this magnitude?
Well, these playoff
games. Is there a
games,
concern? Like, nobody.
No, of course there is.
What's fascinating to me about Brock, and Brock has played exceptional football.
Yeah.
He's blown me away. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Brock Purdy's, no doubt. He's won me over.
Well, of course.
But what happens if they do take away that run? In the back of my mind, I'm still saying, he's a 7th-round pick.
Well,
he's a 7th-round pick.
It's not just that. I think in the playoffs, what I've come accustomed to, Brady, Burrow, Stafford. I'm going recent memory. Brady, Burrow, Stafford, Mahomes.
Strong arms.
It's not strong arms. Can you stay in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field with someone in your face mask? Now, he's done that at times, but I think as things get more compressed on the field and the defenses are better and there's more of an equal matching, you have to deliver from the pocket. I love the freelance stuff. We all love it. But you are going to have to deliver throws from the pocket with a guy in your face.
He's done that.
No, he has.
He's done that. He did it the first game against Miami.
But it's not about doing it once or twice.
Right.
It's
You've
about
got to do it consistently.
Exactly.
You got to do it consistently.
Exactly. And look, we're trying to find different things for him to leapfrog in terms of accomplishments and challenges, and he's leaped them all. He's leaped them all. And maybe he has a perfect game, and they still fall short because they can't stop them offensively.
No doubt.